It's Ted here, Bodies and Wix. I made a video earlier, and lo and behold, I forgot to publish it. So I thought about it on my way um, to run some errands, and I thought, you know what, I should probably actually throw this video up because it has to do with it being tax day, the day that the government loves to steal your money. Or in some cases, they've already stole it and now they're just giving it back to you. So that being said, there's some things you should probably know as a trader, as this is probably my third year filing as a trader. My first year was with an offshore broker, and I lost a lot of money, and so it didn't really matter if it was an offshore broker or not. It was horrible. Um, but um, last year was different. Last year it didn't really ask much about trading cryptocurrency, anything like that. It just all it asked is if you had traded cryptocurrency, and if you put yes, then like you just got to move on, right? And this year was a lot different. Um, this year, what it did ask, I mean, it basically asked for every single freaking transaction. Um, Now, if you're like me, you do keep a journal, but the journal's only so good if you actually write down every single dollar amount. What the price? I mean, like, there's things that you forget about whenever it comes tax season. That you probably need to know, or probably, just things that slip your mind whenever it comes tax season, whenever you're trading. So, one of the main things is always know the dollar amount of whatever asset is you're trading. For me, I'm a futures trader, right? So, I will get on KuCoin or LBank or whatever it is that allows for good futures trading, FEMEX, things like that. I generally don't go over 5x. And the reason I don't go over 5x is that I think if you look at the laws, they're still not set in stone for crypto. But it's just generally a good practice not to go over 5x, sometimes 10x. You go higher than that, then yeah, you do start getting into that territory of, illegalities, things like that. And that's where I try to keep myself in check and make sure that I am doing everything in a legal perspective. Sorry, I just got to the destination to where I was heading. Now, that being said, there is, if you are one of those people who did a lot of trading, right? And you didn't record anything, you don't know how to do all of it. There is a thing called Coin Tracker, right? Coin Tracker is awesome. It keeps track of what you have to do. It's kind of time consuming to start it, but once you get it started, it's worth it in the long run. If you have it, if you've made the money to do it, and also if you have the money to pay for it. There's multiple tiers. There's like basic, and like basic is like, I forgot what basic is, but then there's like tier 2, which is if you've only done like so many transactions or more, which I believe I took tier 2 this year, as to where the previous year I would have taken tier 3. Tier 3 is if you had like over 300 and something transactions or something like that. That one is like $200 and something, or I think it's like $200. Now, the only reason that would be worth it is if you were getting more than like 250 back on your tax return from the cryptocurrency trading. Um, now I was like, and here's the thing: is that like whenever I started filing my taxes, I went through H&R Block. I always go through H&R Block. Something I've always done. They always have all my stuff there ready for me. And this year, like all I had to do, this year was a lot easier. You just had to upload documents and things like that, and boom, it was already right there. Um, However, I did I did have self-employment income, of course. Self-employment income being part of that being trading. The other part being, um, hello, how about a little bit of this, a little bit of door dashing. Yeah, the guy that teaches you how to trade a bunch also delivers food. Hey, everybody's got a side gig every now and then. Because you know what? We all win some, we all lose some. I'm sorry, I don't have a funded account to where I have thousands and thousands of dollars and I, don't make hundreds and hundreds a week. I got to stick to my principles. I'm also the type of person that spreads their funds out across a couple different platforms. It used to be across a lot of platforms. I made that well, didn't really make that mistake, but it's just too much of a hassle to me to have my funds spread out across a lot of platforms. So I only have them across a couple platforms. KuCoin, CoinX, Mexi, those in LBank. Those are my pretty much futures, and Femex. I do think I did a couple on Femex. And also I did some of those because of referral bonuses too. Now, you also have other things, that will accrue interest as well. Like KuCoin also has, the finance, or almost any kind of centralized, cryptocurrency exchange will have some kind of finance, right? And that finance will allow you to earn APY, blah 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 blah, and that'll show up in a different, in a different section. However, I don't think those count as transactions. Don't quote me on that because I am not. I just purchased the coin tracker today, so I can go back and do everything. So I don't think that count as transactions. I think the things that count as transactions is if you actually go through and execute a trade, right? Execute, purchase whatever, or buy, or go long on a future, go short on a future, things like that. Use margin trading, things of that nature, right? Um, and I was looking. At first, I was kind of, after I purchased it, I was like, oh crap. I was like, did I do the wrong thing? Because I looked at my KuCoin and I was like, you know what? I actually didn't make a whole lot of trades this year. I really didn't. And the reason is because the year before, I was trading like a madman and trying to make as much money as possible, as to where this year I slowed it down, calmed it down, right? And tried to find the right trades. So whenever you do that, you make less trades, you end up making more money. However, this year the market also tanked. And because the market tanked, I do have separate accounts specifically for saving and hodling. one of them being Nexo, because I got into Nexo right when it was doing the whole, um, you know, interest. Basically, it was doing interest, and then after a while, they decided they were going to stop doing interest. And if you pulled any money out of whatever you had in there for interest, you weren't allowed any more interest. So whatever was in there, and if you took any out, you lost your interest. Well, I lost a lot of my interest, to be honest, but I was able to keep some. Um, but I did make some. I mean, it shows like in my Nexo transaction report that there's a lot, but I think a lot of it is just accrued interest, to be honest. I really didn't trade a whole lot within Nexo. Nexo Pro, I did a couple of trades, but not a whole lot as well. Um, and then what was the other one? Let's see here. Mexi, I did Mexi because I was an affiliate. KuCoin because I like KuCoin. I didn't do Gate this year because Gate took off everything for Americans. What else? Jeez, I can't really see. I kind of narrowed it down to only just like a few cryptocurrency exchanges. I did a couple centralized ones, and I need to go through and find those and figure out how I'm going to do those. Primarily Avalanche, TraderJoeXYZ.com. Um, that's when Avalanche was like taking off, and I was trying to uh, get ahead of the game, and eventually I know I lost money on that one too. So it is what it is, you know. But now I'm sitting around talking to myself through it. I'm like, okay, now I'm glad I actually bought this coin tracker because I had already filed for my taxes, right? And I filed for my taxes. However, I requested that uh, as somebody should do, unless you're 100% certain, should either take it into a tax professional, or if you're doing it online like I did, request a tax professional to look over it. Especially if you're getting um, you know, self-employed income like I was. I mean, that was barely even in any of it. That may have been 1/10 of my income. Would have been self-employed income. The rest of it was actually working a W-2 job. Um, Working at a warehouse, doing managerial stuff, that kind of stuff, whatever. And then moving to another warehouse. Doesn't matter. What matters is what you should do with your self-employment income, right? Always claim it, no matter what. Even like, especially if you're doing side hustles like DoorDash, or you're a Lyft driver or an Uber driver or something like that. Claim it. I don't care if you get a 1099 or not. Claim it. That way you don't have the IRS coming back on you, right? Even though I know you're gonna go, oh, they don't get a document anyway, so how would they know? Claim it, claim it, claim it, claim it. Just be careful, be on the safe side, claim it. All right, um, because that's what I did, and I claimed my DoorDash income, and I also what I claimed along with that on my self-employment income was my interest income from KuCoin. Now, whenever it came down to filing for my return, it was asking for documents, and that was the cool thing about H&R Block is it just had a section for documents. Just upload documents left and right, and I did, and it pretty much had you verify everything. And I didn't realize it, but I used Tornado. I don't know if you know what that is, but Tornado is an investment company. It kind of has a little bit more social aspect to it. People kind of give pros and cons to the stocks and stuff like that. Not much of a stonks person, but if I do, a tornado is kind of a cool thing. Public is also very, very similar, except for very, very more social. Um, and also very, very, very more noob-like. Very, a lot of noobs on there. Very, very much so newbie. Um, but I closed that account out. I'm trying to close my tornado account out. The thing with the tornado account is if you do this thing called learn and earn, like you would with Coinbase, that money stays in your account for so long before you can withdraw it. So I can't close that account just yet. Um, Now, what I'm trying to figure out is that what I do have the Coinbase card, right? And I always put money on it because it gives you percentage back on crypto, right? So I I use my I have a credit union around here that I use a card for that because it gives me zero Coinbase fees. That's pretty awesome, right? Um, so that's what I used for that, and I would pay bills, things like that. Whatever I could think and dream of, I would pay with the Coinbase card. Why? Because I got that either 1.5% back in Ethereum or 0.5% back in Bitcoin. Whatever I thought was the best deal at the time, right? Um, and now, there is accrued interest on those as well. So I'm hoping that the coin tracker takes care of that. Um, and to be honest, I want to say that's about it. I was trying to give some tips and tricks about like what to do as far as what you should do. See, I went ahead and filed for my return. I asked for, an expert to go over it. That's an extra $80, right? Um, it costs money, but then again, you also want to be correct, uh, because I have a feeling that if I'm going to go over all of this crypto stuff, I'm going to end up with probably a couple hundred more dollars. It's probably going to pay for itself, to be honest. At least I hope so. Well, let's see. Uh, I'll let you know in a couple weeks, I guess. But I got to get home tonight and start working on that stuff because there was a lot of things I also forgot to add in there. That I need to add in there, like my SoFi account. My I don't know. There was a couple other accounts too that I forgot to add in there. I should have just whipped out my wallet and got because I have like so many different cards from all these different banks that I should have just whipped them out and been like, okay, which one did I use last year? Whatever. But I forgot. Luckily, it filed an extension for me. So if you're worried about getting an extension filed, you can continue today, right? And also, we can continue today, and you can go ahead and get that extension going. It'll be free. They will make sure that it's free. Okay, at least H&R Block will, right? Especially if you've been doing business with them like I have for the last couple of years. I don't know about any other place. TurboTax, Jackson Hewlett. I don't know. All I know is about H&R Block. And again, this is not tax advice. I'm not trying to give anybody tax advice. I'm just trying to tell you what's happened in my experience, right? Um, uh, Again, they filed my extension for me, so it said anything I owed, I would have to pay by April 18th. I didn't know anything. So what that is, that allowed me time, thank God, to go through and check all my crypto and make sure I got everything, all my ducks in a row, because hopefully at the end of the day, my it said, I ended up paying 270 something dollars for, you know, just to have my taxes filed, which isn't that bad compared to some, it could be a lot worse. Uh, my my return in the 4 digits. We'll just say that. But it could be more. I mean, it's probably going to stay in the 4 digits, that's for sure. But it probably could be a lot more, and it probably could end up paying for itself now that I got the coin tracker. So if you've got coin tracker, if you never heard of it, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to put the H&R block, referral code as a description, or in the description, and also the coin tracker in the description, or referral, or as a description. That way you have it, and that way, in case you're freaking out right now, you have no idea what to do, you can go ahead, calm down, and make sure to get your extension filed, and then use coin tracker if you're a crypto trader, and make sure you get all your ducks in a row. And it shouldn't be a couple, as long as you're still working on it and still trying to make sure everything is going, who knows, a couple weeks you should have your refund, and hopefully you should have a pretty good refund, you know. But if you're the type that just, like, buys a couple coins here and there, I don't think you really need coin tracker. You're not like me. You're not the type that will buy futures of, Monero and stuff like that, and wait till it hits $5 and close it out just to make an extra $5 for the day. So that's the type of person I am. But I don't think I made any more than 60 transactions this year, so that is a good thing. So that helped me out a lot, because that put me down at tier 2 on coin tracker, which is going to help me out a lot on my taxes. If you're on tier 3, if you made over 200 something, I think it's 200 or 300 transactions on crypto, yeah, you're definitely going to need that tier 3, and it's going to cost $200. Is it going to be worth it? Depends. I don't know. It's up to you. But all I know is that, like, if you don't have coin tracker, you get an email like almost every other day telling you how your portfolio is doing, what's doing, how much taxes could you have saved, things like that. And I just kept seeing mine going down and down and down and down and down and down and down for the year, and I was like, holy crap! Like, man, I was like, market just tank. But the same thing happened with the stocks too. There's no help in that. I mean, there is, but there isn't, especially when you're smart money. You can see it coming, but you don't know when. So you just got to kind of, cross your fingers, hope and pray. Just like I put along on SPRO today. I saw a lot of people shorting it. I saw it getting near a double top, so I longed it. Why? Because they're going to buy into that high. It's going to pull back. I think it's going to go up. All right. That's just the stock. As far as Rumble is concerned, I think I put a put on it at $8. All right. So, yeah, I'm just throwing this out there. None of this is whatsoever any kind of advice, to financial advice whatsoever. I'm just throwing my experiences, what I've done, what I've seen, what I'm doing out there, in hopes that you don't freak out and think you're gonna miss the deadline. Maybe Jackson Hewlett has it, maybe somebody else has it, but I do know that H&R Block does have an area to where whenever you go to try to file, you can file for an extension, as long as you ask for, right, somebody to review your paperwork, right? And that's going to cost an extra $80. Now, again, it's free. The extension is free within that, all right? But it's worth it to me, because you're getting everything done right. So don't screw up your taxes this year. Hopefully there'll be one day when we don't ever have to pay taxes. That would be amazing. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. This video has gone on for far too long, and not a single one of you have watched. I'm so disappointed. No, I'm just kidding. But hopefully you take my advice to heart. Share this video with your friends if you can, if they have no idea what they're doing, if they're scrambling last minute. But hopefully you get a kick out of this, and hopefully this helps. So, peace!